Alrighty, I am here with Antoinette, and I guess we are considering this the round 1/2 confessional of the season. So Antoinette, my first question I want to ask is, how does it feel to be back?
It feels great, but also scary at the same time. I'm glad to be back, but I'm also like nervous about like being only one of three returnees in this cast. So I feel like it'll be a very interesting dynamic to try and maneuver for as long as I'm here. Hopefully it'll be longer than last time, but we'll see.
I know that you were really wanted to get in and start talking to people, and as the cast reveal was going, you were like, I just want to talk to people. So first impressions, anybody, like, how do you feel about the cast as it was being revealed? Anybody you know, any past relationships, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so let me get into it. A lot of these people I have either never seen or never heard of before, which I really, really like. Just because I would rather be with a cast of people I don't know rather than people I do know. However, I feel like that is also a little bit of a disadvantage for me because I don't know these people, so I don't know fully about like as many connections as I would like to coming into this game because I like to have a good or even a little bit of a general idea of like who's connected to who before the game starts. However, there are a lot of people I have not even like heard of in this community, which I also think is really amazing of how diverse this cast is as well. Based off of first impressions and the cast reveal, the two people I very, very much know are Sam. Me and her are on a prod team together for Perception. She has seen me play Perception, so she knows a little bit about how I play. However, I feel like it is different because that game is Big Brother format, and this is something I'm trying to change, or at least try to change my strategy a bit more for because it is a different format. So although she's seen me play, we've never played a game together. Um, I was in a VO for a game that she played in the past as well, so I've seen a little bit of her gameplay as well. So that's one really solid connection I have outside of this game. And then the other person is Nick. I played with them in Perception, um, and they went home before the jury phase of the game. However, I felt like we had a really good connection in that game. Unfortunately, I did end up voting them out in that game because based on who they were up against on the block, and I had ended up trusting the other person more and talking more game. I had never been on a call with Nick during that game, and I'm hoping to change that in this game. And hopefully actually getting to work with Nick this time around because I do really love them as a person. Um, and then Zach, I said two people, but I do kind of know Zach. Zach, I met like accidentally through a mutual work friend of ours, Tyler Marsh, who played last season. Um, he actually, Tyler recruited me to 1984, where him and Zach were on prod last season, I believe. Um, and I ended up applying for that game but not playing. And Zach actually did my interview, so I know Zach a little bit. I know he won his season of 1984, and I also we became really good friends, kind of like I said by accident. Last year Zach was doing a thing for Tyler's birthday and trying to get like a bunch of his friends to like record a short clip, and he reached out to me, and then we just ended up talking and getting to know each other. So I do have a solid relationship with Zach coming into this game. Um, Although I've never seen him play, I don't know like his strategy wise, like his like game plan, whatever. So that'll be interesting to try and figure out. Some other people that I know of Jackson. I lied to Jackson initially about actually knowing where he was from because I didn't want to be super weird and be like, we played the same season of a game but never met, and I made it seem like I didn't actually know who he was, so I wasn't a creep. Um, but my first org, I played all out. me and Jackson were actually on the same cast but never met. So I'm glad to have that opportunity now. I've seen his name around in other games in the community as well. So he's someone I'm slightly aware of. But again, with a lot of this cast, I don't know much about them. So it's very interesting. Dre, I'm aware of from the perception community. Marcelo, I've been in a few VLs for games he's played, so I'm aware of who he is. Jeremy's name I've heard around. Jeff's name I've heard around. Me and Jeff have a few mutual friends who also go to Maryland, so it was a great way to like kind of start that conversation because Jeff is playing Jeff is playing Instinct with two of my friends from Maryland, so that was a great way to start a conversation. Um, Sandy, I've heard of. I know Sandy normally ends up hosting games more so than playing games. Um, and he actually recruited me for a game like a year ago, which I know he didn't remember, but I brought it up to him because I thought it was really funny. So I've been aware of like him in the community as well a little bit. Um, Slade, I did not know anything about. The only time I've heard Slade's name is being on Prod for Ascendance Live. So I'm glad to see him here because I don't know much about him either. And then pretty much everyone else I've either barely heard of or not heard of at all. I think I don't remember if I said Jeremy's name. I think I did, but Jeremy is someone I've seen, but I don't know how much about like how they play. I've just seen their name around. Um, but yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
Cool. You mentioned at the top of that answer that you were pretty familiar with Nick and Sam from, you know, I think perception you mentioned.
Yeah.
Is that something that you are keeping close to your vest, or is that something that you're open and telling people about, and why?
So specifically with Sam, yes, it's definitely something that I'm not like offering the information, be like, oh, I'm really close with Sam. Like I'm not like in that aspect. But we had like a conversation about it because I was like, people are gonna put us together regardless. And I believe like two or maybe three people have like asked me about it or like said something about it and they're like, oh, you know Sam, and I'm like, yeah, like it's like something it's something that we really can't avoid, so it's just being conscious of that and trying to maneuver that in this game while still working together because I do love Sam and I believe we can work together in this game. I really hope so. Um, so it's a very interesting dynamic, especially when it's very well known that we're on a prod team together. But I'm also like using the fact I'm using the fact of I have never played with Sam, but she's seen me play to my advantage because I feel like that puts more of a little bit of like separate, just even the littlest bit of separation because she knows how I play, and I haven't seen her play, so I was kind of trying to test out the waters a little bit with some people, just being like, yeah, like I love Sam outside this game, but like I don't know if she's gonna want to work with me, type thing, just to see like how people would react because I'm not gonna be like I hate Sam. Like, I'm not going to do that because that's not true and people wouldn't believe me regardless. So, I'm really hoping to utilize that relationship in this game, especially because I need all of the relationships and connections I can get being one of three returnees. And I really don't want to get targeted early for that. And then Nick as well, because we didn't fully have like a game relationship. I feel like I got to know Nick well in Perception when we played, but because they went out fairly early and we never went on a call and we never really fully like talked game or were like ride or dies or anything like that. We just like kind of I don't want to say tolerant of each other because I did enjoy my relationship with Nick in that game. Um, I feel like we had a good relationship, like as friends, but not as like game players together, if that makes sense. Um, and I'm curious to see if it'll translate into this game. Hopefully, that little bit of a pre-existing relationship that we do have. Like I said, I'm trying to utilize as many relationships as I can, and I do actually enjoy Nick, and I really do want to work with them. So I'm hoping that they want to work with me. But I guess we'll have to see.
So I wasn't there for the night one call. I know that you and the other two returnees were captains for the round. So I wanted to ask you, I know I saw somewhere that you said that your strategy for picking the teams was alphabetical. Is that true? Is that what you were doing? And was there any strategy behind your team picking?
um, it was purely alphabetical. I had no strategy. Well, I don't want to say no strategy, but I knew I didn't want to like right off the bat pick people I knew, whether people knew I knew them, if words are making sense today. If people like knew that, like for example, like I'm on a prod team with Sam, like I didn't want to pick Sam because I have that relationship with her, and I didn't want that to seem like anything. So my strategy, there wasn't really one. It was mainly just trying not to pick the people I know. And I realized with alphabetical order, I feel like that was going to be the easiest way to do that because a lot of people at the beginning of the alphabet, including the four people I did end up picking. I don't know any of them. I think it was also a way for me to try and get to know people I didn't know. The four people I ended up picking were Alex, Delaney, Aaron, and Jester. Um, and like I mentioned before, there are a lot of people coming to this game that I've like never seen in this community. I've never heard their name, like even in like passing in other like Facebook groups or things like that. So the four of them were four of those people that I have never heard of or seen. And I feel like just like picking them for a team kind of started that just any sort of conversation I could start with these people. Um, and I feel like that was like the extent of my strategy because it was truly alphabetical order. It was just I was like, there's a list on my screen. I'm just gonna go by that. I was thrown into this game a minute ago and told I need to pick teams. So my mind was already frazzled, and I was trying to figure out the quickest way possible um, to just do whatever because it was also the first round, and being a trendsetter, I was safe for the first round. So I knew if I picked supposedly randomly, there would really be no like backlash on me. Also because it is the first round, but yeah.
Um, Another question I wanted to know about last round was obviously you attended the vote, you were safe for the vote. We saw a unanimous vote against Michael. Is that what you wanted to happen? And kind of talk about just the round and like the strategy once you kind of knew who was going to be attending elimination.
Yeah, so I in the beginning of games, I'm very bad with names, and especially because we were we as in the returnees were thrown in last minute. It took me a little bit longer to kind of like get names after like that anxious state I was in. So figuring out who was when I figured out who was actually in the elimination, um I think one person that like really stuck out to me out of like everyone I had talked to was Michael. And that was because I did not have I think at that point I he was the only one who I didn't have a one-on-one chat with. He was the last one-on-one chat that I made. Um and I feel like a lot of people had similar experiences with Michael about like inactivity or just not being able to like have a conversation with him or get to know him. So I feel like it made the most sense. I was totally fine with that vote because seeing like the other people who were at elimination, people that I really enjoyed talking to, let me see really fast. I still need to use the pro board. Um, but the people at the elimination, like people like Jeremy, Sandy, Sam, Nick, all of these people that I've been like really excited to talk to. I'm not including returnees because we were safe, couldn't vote for either of them. Not that I would want to, because I feel like in the early stages of the game we could utilize each other. But I feel like overall, with who was up for elimination, that was the best case scenario for me. Um, I know there were talks of why like Michael was voting for Nick and they had beef from other games or something like that. I don't know exactly, but from Nick saying that Michael has tried to target them in like multiple games and things like that, we all kind of assumed Michael was going to write Nick's name down, which is exactly what happened. And I feel like in that scenario, like I said, I'm still kind of unsure about my game sort of relationship with Nick. So I feel like if Michael did happen to pull out something like a power, it would have been like not great. But I feel like with knowing he was voting for Nick or most likely voting for Nick, it wasn't the worst case scenario because I'm unsure of that relationship as much as I want to work with Nick and further that relationship. So it really worked out the way that I wanted it to at the first elimination. So I'm also happy that it did end up being a unanimous vote because I know sometimes people are crazy and chaotic and will throw votes for no reason. But it also proves that like people are willing to actually give me information and hopefully work with me in this game. It could change because I'm not safe this next round, so we'll see how that changes. But yeah.
So talking about this next round, we have a couple viewers lounge questions that I think are fun to ask you. Are you playing for Trendsetter this round? And if you are, what is your creative inspiration for your trailer?
So I'm unfortunately not competing for Trendsetter this round, and I'm very, very upset about it. Because I've wanted to do a creative challenge for so long, and I even like I know I mentioned Tyler before, but in another game I actually helped Tyler with his creative like music video challenge, which was a really fun time because I was like I get to like live that music video experience through you because I had never had the opportunity to do like a creative challenge like that, which is really why I'm upset that I didn't have the time to do what I really wanted to do. And I didn't, my close friend who knows how to edit, and because I don't know shit about editing. I can't. I don't know why. I've tried and it just doesn't work out. But unfortunately, he also wasn't available because like he's like going through like a process of like moving, which I was like, oh my god. But it was very much upsetting for me. I don't know if you're allowed to tell me if I don't know if we're allowed to like watch people's videos afterward, like after the challenge results come out.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong. I'm not as involved with the competitions this
Sure.
season, but usually they're posted on the Facebook page for everybody to see. So I think you should be able to look at them.
Okay, because I'm very excited to watch other people's because I am unfortunately not participating. Um, and if I was participating, my inspiration would have been The Wizard of Oz. I had a really funny idea that I wanted to do in mind because I have no friends currently on campus to help me film, so I was gonna try and do it like by myself. And I thought that was gonna be really funny, but I didn't have the time to like fully do what I wanted to do, and then also like the editing capabilities to do it either. Um, so unfortunately, I really wanted to, but I couldn't. And I also I had mentioned in the chat in my broad chat about using my seventh grade musical performance, which I know isn't, it's technically takes place in the 1930s, but like the actual musical Guys and Dolls didn't come out until like the 1950s. So I don't even know, like, even if you let me do it, I don't even know if it would count. Um, but um, I thought that would have been really funny, and I'm really upset because I'm still trying to find that video. Because I know it's somewhere, and I know my parents have it somewhere. Um, but I had like I'm a very big musical person, and I feel like I would have gotten a lot of inspiration from different musicals from the 1930s and things like that. So I had a lot of different things that I might have wanted to do, but unfortunately, not the time nor resources. Resources being my friend Dave.
Come on, Dave.
Literally.
But so you're not competing this round. So since you are not competing in Trendsetter, who do you wish wins Trendsetter, knowing that it can't be you at this point?
That's a very good question because I've been thinking about this like all day. um, so it very much depends because I could say like someone who I feel close with, I would want to win, like someone like Jeremy or Sam or Sandy or someone like that. However, it can vary because I feel like everyone who is new to this game, and even both Dre and Slade, I don't think either of them have been whatever their season's version of a trendsetter was. I know my season was captains, but I don't think they had ever been in that position on their season either. So I feel like it depends on strategy, especially with new players, not fully knowing the format of the game, which I say that because people have actually like come to me to ask about the format of the game, which is so valid because I didn't fully understand it when I first played. Um, but like I don't even if somebody I'm super close to were to win, um, they could take a completely different strategy for picking a team than something that I would do or something like that. So it very much depends. I feel like my safe answer is saying someone that I'm close with or I feel I'm close with after one round in this game. Um, but they could have a completely different strategy than something that I would do. So it's very much a toss up. And I would rather not someone I feel like not close to, but at this point in time, because it's been one round, and like you said, I was very eager to talk to people because I always am, and I like to get that leg up because social game is what I do and it's what I'm good at. So I feel like I've been able to talk to everybody. Has it been enough yet? I don't know. But I feel like I would be more comfortable with somebody winning that I've at least talked to more and at least been on a call with because I haven't been on a call with everyone yet.
Perfect. Sorry, I was warming up some dinner, but the next question we have from the VL as well, actually. Uh, Based on the information that you have at this moment, what placement can you see yourself getting?
Oh God.
Round one, what do you think? What placement do you think you're gonna get?
I know, like it's literally been one round. Um, my at this point, it's I don't know. I feel like I can't give like a solid like number placement. But my goal for this game, I would obviously like to do better than I did last time, and I'm hoping that I can do that. But I'm also like and normally when I go into a game, like obviously like the goal for everyone is like to win. Whereas with this game, because this is the first time I'm ever returning to a game before, it's a very interesting dynamic because I did not do well. And I like normally my goal like going into it is to win, but like I feel like I want to at least make jury phase this time around. If I can get there, that would be great. So I would say maybe whatever placement that is, that's where I'm aiming to be. Um, do I think I'm gonna get that placement? I couldn't tell you. I feel like after round one, I've put myself in a good enough position, but then there's also the paranoid side of me that's also like, well, I'm safe, so like, do people actually like are actually people just humoring me, or are they actually like forming bonds with me and actually want to work with me long term in this game? Because of the fact that one, I was safe, two, I'm a returnee. So I feel like there's like that added level of paranoia in my head of are people actually like wanting to work with me like a normal game if I were also a new player, because I've never been in this position before. That was a very long-winded answer.
No, we love detailed answers. VL eats that stuff up. Um, sorry. What was the next question? Yeah, the next question we ask, this is a very famous Papa question. What do you need to do in this next round to set yourself up, basically to set yourself up for future rounds?
Yes. Specifically for me, I would like to solidify or make more alliances if I can, whether that be one-on-one alliances or alliances with multiple people, like groups of 3 or 4. That would be ideal for me, especially because I feel like so far I am putting in the effort of the social game that I normally do. However, I still feel like it's not enough. And I'm not sure why I'm getting that feeling, but I want something like a more core, either more core alliances, excuse me, or just a better feeling about more individuals in the game, so I have a more diverse group of people that I feel comfortable with, that wouldn't try to fuck me over if they were to win Trendsetter in the future. Because knowing me, I'm not the best at challenges, which I've said time and time again. Um, which is why I rely so heavily on social game. And I feel like for me specifically, making those connections are what's going to keep me here. Um, However, I also need to figure out a balance of not being too social like the first time I played, and ultimately being targeted for multiple different people I'm aligned with, and also solidifying relationships so that certain people who may or may not have idols or pendants of power would save me.
Yes, yes. So is there anything else, Antoinette, that we haven't discussed that you want to touch on in this confessional at the moment?
Um, I mean, just to talk a little bit more about like alliances and stuff and like people I do feel good with. I do feel very good with Sam. I don't know. I very much want to go far with Sam. However, with our pre-existing relationship before this game, I don't know how far people are willing to take the two of us together. And in that scenario, I feel like I would get targeted first just because of the fact that I am a returnee. I feel like that is just its own target in itself, which is something that I'm excited but nervous to try and maneuver as an added factor this season for myself. Um, and like I mentioned, I feel very good with Sandy as well. Sandy really likes both me and Sam, and we have made a 3-person alliance, which I very much am looking forward to working with in the future of this game. And right now, I would say specifically my number one has to be Jeremy. We have a lot in common, which was very fun to figure out within the first round of this game. And they're absolutely what I think I need in this game. And are they bullshitting me? I would hope not. But um, we basically talked about like almost our entire like org history on our first call, which was absolutely crazy. Um, I explicitly left stuff out about myself, um, but I feel like they were very honest with me, and for the most part, I was very, very honest with them, and I very much love the relationship we've been able to build in less than a week. Um, and it's something that I feel like is, like I said, what I need in this game. And I really just, I, God, I really just want to make it further in this game. I just, it's I want nothing more than to feel more comfortable in this game than I do right now, and that could only be because it's been one round. But I want to be able to feel more comfortable, so when push comes to shove, people will actually fight for me to stay, because it's something that I would do for my allies in return. Um, and I really want to do better. Which I feel like obviously every returnee here wants to do better, but I don't know. It's like my one goal at this point, and with like feeling more comfortable in later rounds, I feel like I still have work to do to get there, and I'm looking forward to hopefully being here long enough to do that.
Alrighty, Antoinette, that sounds like a good note to stop the recording on, so I will.